Okay, it is time for Opposition Uncovered. Up next for West Ham United is a trip to the Midlands to face Leicester City at the King Power Stadium. I've been to the stadium before. I went on an away day there about 8 years ago and I really enjoyed it. Very nice away end, very nice stadium and very easy to get around. Even though it was a little bit smaller on the inside than I thought, still a good away day. This is a good time to play Leicester, in my opinion, not at least because of their inconsistency to win games and the fact that the Leicester of this season isn't the one that we've seen in the two previous seasons. The team has struggled in the Premier League and is now fighting to get a top half finish, whereas West Ham's hoping to get a top four finish. And although Leicester has got 5 games in hand, it still doesn't count for much when the team's not been able to continuously win. And that is something that does give me a little bit of hope going into the game on Sunday, knowing that we could go up there, put in a performance and win, and we won't know what to expect from Leicester because they're unpredictable in a bad way. We don't know what to expect with them. They can beat Liverpool 1-0, but they can struggle against a team like Southampton. Or they can draw against Brighton. Or something like that. But the point I'm making is they haven't had those consistent results as we've seen in previous seasons. And consistency is what got Leicester into the Champions League places. Don't forget. Consistent results and progression. That's how they got Champions League and European football. And this season, keeping that is going to be a big, big task. They may not even be in Europe next season for all we know. I'll talk about how they've been doing this season in a nutshell. I remember when Leicester went on a 9-game winning streak in late 2019. And that included a 9-0 win over Southampton. Sorry, Southampton fans, I just had to mention that. Yeah, I know. And they were second in the Premier League at one point, doing a pretty decent title charge. This season, it's been different. And since the start of the year, 2022, that is, this calendar year, they've had 3 games postponed and are yet to win in the Premier League. The closest they got actually came on January the 19th in that game against Tottenham Hotspur, where Spurs scored 2 goals in the last 2 minutes of injury time to beat Leicester 3-2. And that has had a very damaging effect to Brendan Rodgers' side. Why? Well, they ended up getting knocked out of the FA Cup 4-1 by rivals Nottingham Forest in what was quite an embarrassing defeat for Leicester. And they recently lost 2-0 to Liverpool. Only one time they've won consecutive games was on October the 16th and October 24th in a 4-2 win over Manchester United and a 2-1 away win at Brentford. They started off the season not too great and won 2 of the opening 5. And they've drawn more than what fans would like to think. I'm not going to say they're definitely not in a relegation battle. That is for sure. They're definitely not in a relegation battle and they definitely won't go down. But will they make top half? I don't know. That seems to be what they're going for right now, top half football. And they've had a lot of underperformers in the team this season. Youri Tielemans, I've noticed, has not been as productive as he usually can be in that midfield. Carlos Soyuncu has been poor in their defence. They need to get Fofana back in. Someone who can work the left and the central defensive positions. That is a must. They need to get Fofana back, I think, and drop Soyuncu. And maybe even take the risk to drop Tielemans, because he's not been good enough this season. He's been poor since the start of the year, from what I've seen. So Brendan Rodgers has a lot of decisions to make, and I don't know if he's going to be brave enough to take them. But one thing is for sure, if results don't stay on the right track, he's going to be out of a job. And it'd be a shame because he's done such a good job at Leicester. But with this being a results industry, he's probably going to be fearing the worst. As for my 3 players on my ones to watch, the first name that comes to mind is James Madison. Of course. He's signed a long-term contract at Leicester because he's seen as an important player in the team. Love James Madison to bits. Great at set pieces. Great presence, attacking the ball centrally. Great at getting into the box. I don't know why we didn't sign him when we had the chance to. We signed Felipe Anderson instead. I would have taken Madison all day long instead of Anderson. And Madison is showing West Ham what they missed out on. An ex-West Ham United employee also talks about Madison a lot too. My second player that I'm going to talk about is Harvey Barnes, because I think he's got a big potential. He's really moulding himself into the team at Leicester. Had a really good 2020-21 season, scoring 9 goals in 25 games. He has been absent a few times this season, but he's another player who's long-term, future of the club, and he's staying at Leicester until 2025 at the very least. Harvey Barnes is a very good winger. I like the way he attacks the flanks. I like the way he cuts into the box. And he is a very tricky player as well to get past. The third player I'm going to talk about is goalkeeper Caspas Michail. Underrated goalkeeper in this league, but one of the best and one of the most successful. Won a Premier League title, an FA Cup, following in his father Peter's footsteps. There's also that programme about him which I'm yet to watch, so I'm going to go and check that out. I think it'll be quite interesting hearing about father and son and how they can compare their careers. But those are the 3 players that I'm going to go for: Madison, Barnes and Schmeichel. As for a player who played for both, one name that comes to mind is Paul Kitson. Now, Paul Kitson actually started his career at Leicester City in 1989 and spent 3 years up in Leicester. He then joined Derby County in 1992 and spent 2 years again at Derby, a rival club for Leicester, before he returned back home up north to around the place of his birth, and he joined Newcastle United, where he spent 3 years. He signed for West Ham in 1997 and was known for his partnership with John Hartson. He spent 5 years with the Hammers, making 63 appearances and scoring 18 goals. He also had some loan spells at Charlton Athletic and Crystal Palace. To end his career, he had spells at Brighton and Hove Albion, Rushden and Diamonds and Aldershot Town. As for my score prediction for this game, it's tricky because Leicester's a team that's not doing the best this season, but they're not necessarily doing the worst. They still have a lot of good players despite their lower than usual position. I want to say West Ham to nick it 1-0. I don't say 1-0 a lot in this section on these kind of videos, but I'm going to say 1-0 West Ham just to nick it and say, yeah, I think we can just about scrape the barrel in this game. I don't want to hear all of this talk about Rice being better than Ndidi. Rice is better than Ndidi, who gassed up West Ham fans. Shut up about that. All right, we had it with Calvin Phillips. We don't need it from Leicester fans, okay? Just don't need it. I can't be arsed with it. Okay? Just can't. Rice is better than Ndidi. Sorry if you're rattled. Thank you very much for watching this episode of Opposition Uncovered. If you like that video, give it the thumbs up, give it the like. Don't forget to subscribe to From the Anvil for more content. Take care, everyone, and I will see you all soon.